Well, now that you know what I said was a spoiler, everybody dies at the end. I fucking told you guys. I told you. I told you. I told you. I knew it would happen. Oh my god. Amazing. And this is the spoiler review. If you didn't read the title or the thumbnail, this is a spoiler review. So if I spoiled it for you, I gave you ample warning. Anyway, let's get straight into it. On the spoiler-free review, I said that basically what I went over summary-wise was that this movie was definitely different. It focused heavily on, I feel like, the emotions and perspectives of both the Empire and the Rebel Alliance. So other than that, it was definitely a slow start, but like I said in the other review, it needed to focus on the characters, and I appreciate it because everybody fucking died. And they wanted to get you attached to these characters, and doing the typical like 70s 80s style action movie with the funny little quotes and the little stuff like that is not going to get you too attached to the characters after just one movie. So I feel like they definitely needed to spend that first half hour or so getting you involved in the characters and getting you emotionally attached to them and their backstories and seeing where they come from, so that basically when the end hits, it has more of an impact on you rather than just like, oh, they died. But yeah, fucking amazing movie. Didn't really care for the music too much, but I mean, fucking Saw Gerrera, I can't believe he died. He had such a small part in this movie, especially for as much as they showed him in the trailer. I don't know, I kind of had a feeling in the back of my head though that was going to happen. I definitely knew he was going to die, just because I knew they would give him a closing. The way he went, it was still kind of sad. I was just watching and just like, oh man, I knew it was coming, and just like, Saw Gerrera is gone. He has left us. Chinuit was probably my favorite character. I wish he was in Battlefront instead of Jyn Erso. Chinuit was amazing, and just his whole being with the Force, he was entertaining to watch, and at the same time, it was just, I don't know, I got so attached to him, I feel like the most, which is weird because he wasn't really too much of a main character, but he was just so spiritual, and then like just all of that just got me more attached to him than anyone else in the movie. And you know, they were the last guardians of the Kyber, of the temple, and on Jedha, and so, you know, they were like the last guardians of the Jedi. They still believed in guarding the Jedi temple and everything, or the Kyber crystal temple. So it was just sad to see him go for me personally. But who else? Grand Moff Tarkin looked amazing. It was amazing how they recreated him like that. I was so shocked. And then just everything about the movie was pretty good. I just enjoyed it so much, especially the last battle with Scarif. Definitely had the Return of the Jedi influence with the Admiral Akbar, but not really him. And just all of that, all the TIE fighters, the whole space battle was definitely influenced by Return of the Jedi. I feel like some of the same lines were even being said half the time, and some of the same like scenes, like swirling around in his commander's chair and everything like that, is just, the Star Destroyer is disabled. All of that, just, that was heavily influenced, and I didn't have a problem with that, you know. I really didn't. And Darth Vader, I wish he had a bigger part. I did love his ending scene. I feel like they reshot though and cut a lot of his scenes that he would have had, a lot of the fight scenes, but his ending scene was badass. We did find, I'm happy with what they gave us, because that shit was so cool. Just, he was all in the hallway, just, oh my god, deflecting, choking, push, like, just, oh my god, tossing them aside like rag dolls. And I love how it led directly into Leia having the plans and on Tantive 4. My only thing is, like, how did R2 get on Tantive 4 with C-3PO? Because last we knew about, I mean, I guess you can assume that they went on the ship, but why? Last we saw them, they were on Yavin 4. A lot of these little Easter eggs. I like how Bale mentioned, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi and everything, and how he was going to send basically Leia to go get the Death Star plans. And K2SO, it was sad to see him die. I don't know why, I liked him too. He was awesome. But yeah, you saw Grand Moff Tarkin take over the Death Star and everything like that. That was pretty cool, which led into that. In A New Hope, on why he was the Death Star commander. Obviously Krennic was going to die. We knew that. kind of glad Jyn wasn't the one to kill him. It was kind of ironic, and obviously it was on purpose, but it was kind of good the way he died to his own creation. Like that was pretty cool, and it was definitely a moving sentiment. But Darth Vader's few scenes I enjoyed. James Earl Jones' voice on that was freaking on point back to the original movies. He just sounded so good, especially compared to his recent Clone Wars one. I was kind of worried. I was like, well, because Clone Wars, it was a little bit off for me for Clone Wars. I don't know about anyone else, but he sounded just a little bit off. It didn't sound like he was fully into it. But this one, he definitely sounded perfect as Darth Vader, like he was back 30 years ago, 40 years ago now. Holy shit. I mean, yeah, it was definitely different the way they traveled to all these different planets and stuff like that. I like seeing Jedha with all the Jedi references and everything like that. That was pretty cool. The Jedi statue there and all that. And it's ironic that obviously Saw Gerrera picked that place, of course, to make his final home, his final base, and that's where he chose to stop running. And I feel like it had just a good message for the whole theme of the rebellion was just like Jyn Erso kind of turned herself into that hope, because the Rebel Council was going to just abandon it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to fight a Death Star. They didn't want to fight a planet killer. It was just they were going to give up. And Jyn Erso displayed the hope that everyone needed by just going on the mission to Scarif alone, with a ragtag team of just people who volunteered. And to me that represented the whole idea of the rebellion and all of that. And she just, I don't know, she wasn't a favorite of mine, but I feel like she did embody the rebel personality, what you want out of the rebels. I feel like she definitely represented the rebellion in this movie, especially towards the end. Obviously at the beginning she wasn't too big of a fan of the rebels or the Empire. She just wanted to live her life, just ignore everything and live her life. But Bail Organa was a nice addition to this movie, and seeing Mon Mothma was awesome too, and a few other cameos. R2-D2 and C-3PO popped up for like a second. That was pretty funny. I still think Darth Vader for me was a pretty cool scene. I was waiting all movie for that. I was just waiting, and I mean he was just ruthless. I fucking hate how they threw in the Emperor trick though, with that guy dressed up like the Emperor, and then it turns out to just be some damn servant acolyte thing. That was stupid. I was like, is he really gonna be in here, the Emperor? Oh my god, that was so. I wish they didn't do that, because that was just false hype right there. That was all false hype. But yeah, Chinuit was a badass. Him and Baze were just badass as fuck. I mean, honestly, they were like the core fighters. The Imperial pilot, I wasn't a fan of him. To me, he felt useless in this movie for the most part, besides literally his final task and knowing the docking codes and procedures. But other than that, he just felt useless. He wasn't funny to me. I just feel like he had no role in this movie for the most part. I feel like this movie could have went without the Imperial pilot, but whatever. Other than that, yeah, like I said, great movie. Chinuit was just knocking the stormtroopers out of the way. Those Death Troopers were freaking awesome in combat. Krennic was every bit as much of a genius. Tarkin was so ruthless. It's good to see Tarkin in this movie. I felt like they got a chance to portray all these people that they couldn't before. Tarkin, Darth Vader, they got a chance to portray them in a lot different light than they did in the original trilogy, and I feel like that is something we all deserved. So this movie was great. It's sad that everyone died, but they died in such amazing ways. Like Chinuit's I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. When he was saying that in his final moments and stuff, like I had tears when he went down. I was just like, oh man, that put me in tears. I was like, shit. And then Baze started saying it. I was like, oh man, that it was beautiful. And K2SO's death was beautiful. And I mean, Jin's, Cassius, and the pilots weren't that big on me for their death scenes, but it was good. But this whole movie really showed off a lot of stuff and filled out a lot of holes between what happened between the events right before episode 4. So I feel like this movie did a good job at what it aimed to do, and I feel like this movie was still fun while filling in plot holes and while getting attached to these characters. I feel like the movie was just still fun. So that's my spoiler review of this movie. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I definitely feel like it was a good movie. So, and like I said, Darth Vader scene to me was just fucking awesome. Just bam, smashing rebels all over the place, just effortlessly. My only problem with that was I wish he would have just grabbed the rebel that was running and pulled him back, the one that had the plans to the Death Star. I wish he would have just pulled him back, because he could have done that. But other than that little problem I had, great movie. So that's my spoiler review, and I'll see you guys next time.